Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the briefing on Thursday, the 28th of July. So, a bit cloudy out there at the moment, and that cloud is sort of lurking at sort of mid-levels, 5,000 to 6,000 feet and above. You'll see that when we look at some of the data. But this is the predicted midday chart. Interesting features here, obviously, quite large spacing with the isobars and an easterly drift across us, but it's only a very light one, 5 to 8 knots by the looks of it, and also a little low pressure just developing here. That could probably account for why there are some showers in the West Country, and they're predicting showers all day in that area. Hopefully it'll stay there. Pressure 1,018 over us, somewhere around that for most of the day. And then as you sort of play that further forward, you think these fronts are going to sort of make their way towards us over the course of the next 24 hours, but they sort of fizzle out. And we still remain in this sort of slack area of light winds and no real movement. And even into Saturday, takes a while for this weak warm front to get to us. So yeah, potentially another reasonable day tomorrow. Tasks for today, fairly short. Farnborough are suggesting, you can see on the end here, tempo between 9 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. Rain. Could well be that this sort of upper cloud might get thick enough in places just to spit a little bit. Gatwick not giving any sign of rain, and I suppose Heathrow is as well, but it's only tempo. I think it's very unlikely, looking at what the rest of the forecast is showing. So most of the day to 4 o'clock, 100 degrees, 6 knots. Yeah, light easterly with a sort of small southeasterly drift. Cavalcade, so most places are showing no cloud below 5,000 feet. Upper winds got a little bit more southeasterly drift to them across the centre of the country. I think that'd be the case here as well. It's a bit variable down to the south of us across the channel, but I think if you generally work on flying height winds of about 120, 10 knots, you'd be about right. SatPic just shows lots and lots of cloud in this area here. If you run the animation, you can see it. It's not really drifting through, it's just coming up gently from the southwest. Thick bands, thinner bits, and some brighter bits out in the west of England, which are picked up in the rainfall radar. There's just little lines here. This stuff looks like it's going to cut across Kent, and we'll be in the area here. Temperature wise, they're showing sort of 22, 24. Well, BBC and other forecasts showing 21, 22 degrees, which I think is 22 degrees, probably what it's going to go to today. Perhaps not going to feel quite like that if there's upper cloud cutting off the sun. But it should be around that mark, I think, when the sun comes out. And it's going to come out by the looks of it later as the cloud thins from the south. Dew points, well, they're showing 6 to 8s here. Well, currently dew points are about 10s, 11s. So yeah, I would have thought 8 degrees down to something like that. And then playing about with the soundings, it's a bit of an odd sounding here. It's showing lots of cloud. Let's work from the top down, really. Lots of cloud in this area here, and also the potential for cloud in here as well, but quite dry in this area here. And if you sort of plug in 22 degrees and a dew point of say 9, it says it should get cloud at about 4,500 feet. But I think the dew points, if they come down to 8 here, you're not going to get any cloud at all. You'll just be blue thermals up to however sort of warm it gets with this sort of inversion line. The actual sounding gives a little bit better picture. Here there is an inversion sat in here, and it's got to break sort of 19 degrees to give everything reasonable in this area here, above about 1,500, 1,800 feet. And then it's just instability up through here. And if the dew points are down in the sort of 9 mark, and you're unlikely to see cumulus. If you get 21, 22, follow that line up here, you should get 13, 1,400 meters, maybe a bit more blue. Top Meteo doesn't really pick out the this mid-level cloud. If you play this through, it just says upper cirrus and some layered cloud. But does show it sort of thinning from the south later in the day, as the BBC did this morning. It's getting brighter from the south. I think fairly thick over the Midlands area for most of the day by the looks of it. And then a bit brighter this afternoon, late afternoon. Thermal wise, showing by probably 11 o'clock, it's starting to get soarable, and they're quite optimistic, sort of showing by 1, 2 o'clock, between sort of 15 and 1,700 meters, all the way up to the Oxford area, out to the northwest. And I can see where that's coming from with the predicted ascent. Not quite so clear on that with the actual ascent from Lark Hill this morning. I think it will get soarable, but perhaps not quite as optimistic as Top Meteo are showing. Maybe later in the afternoon when the cloud thins a bit, hopefully we'll get something reasonable. And their suggested distance is just out to the north or down to the south, but I think possibly down as far as Petersfield, that sort of area, but not too much further than there. So yeah, shortish cross countries, maybe 200k after lunch, hopefully. Skysight, some interesting other, their potential flight distance is a similar sort of thing, round us down to the south, and then up towards the north looks fine. Their cloud amounts, they're sort of showing no cumulus in this area and up towards the northwest as well, but they are out towards Aston Down, showing potential cloud base at 2,000 meters. Overdevelopment, they're showing out in that area as well, and cloud cover. Interestingly, they are picking up here the mid-level outer Q and higher cloud that we're actually perhaps seeing out the window now. But they're saying that cumulus out to the northwest towards Aston Down, likely later in the day. Okay, so yeah, maybe good bit later on for a couple of 100k, folks. Okay, airspace wise, not really a lot going on. Around the Lasham area and out towards the north, there's a concentration inside the Salisbury Plain danger area, and it's all to do with high energy radio transmissions that are taking place from various locations, so nothing to worry about there. Number 40, 39, 45, they're all just either paragliding or don't overfly for powered aircraft events. The important one is number 43 over the centre or near the centre of Bryce, parachuting think it's all day. It's from sort of 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock tonight. So unlikely to be crossing the top of Bryce, but if you were contemplating it, give them a call to find out what's going on. Further north, not really a lot going on in this area here or out to the northwest. I'll talk about the Birmingham restricted airspace fairly shortly, as I'll put up the AIC just to quickly show you that. The opening ceremony today. So this gives you a preview of the airspace. Yeah, where we go. It runs from today, and essentially it follows the lines of most of the bits of airspace, brings this bit area A down to the ground and turns it into a restricted airspace. But there are a couple of bits here sticking out. Surface to 4,500 feet over Wolverhampton and over Daventry as well. I don't think it'd ever be an issue for Lasham pilots unless they're trying to sculpt through this area here between Birmingham and East Midlands. So just be aware of that. Runs for the next 2 weeks. Little bumps sticking out to the south. They've issued lots of airspace warnings about it, just to say that the increased level of traffic that won't be able to cut underneath here normally will be routing a bit further south around places like Wellesbourne. Apart from that, fairly quiet on the airspace front. Operationally, we'll be on runway 09 on the main runway. I've got a flight plan for a 737 departing at 10:30. We'll set up anyway, and I'll find out when that's likely to take place. It doesn't normally hit the notified flight plans. Can't imagine there's going to be enough people to set up a grid. So basically, when it gets soarable, folks, come out to the runway and we'll launch you. And we'll see you out there.